Yo, what's happening? Hey man, I mentioned in one of my other videos I was gonna start doing a little bit more over gematria. And if you didn't know, it's a Jewish mysticism type thing, esoteric, I don't know, hermetic philosophy, if you will. Um, but they have this belief that God created the world and the society and civilization with words and numbers. So these people, in the media and stuff, they use certain numbers and certain words that actually mean, you know, actually mean things to them and mean things to the society. And it's one of the ways that they communicate with each other because they can't necessarily come out and say, this is what's going to happen next. This is what's going to happen next, but someone could just see that article that's in the know, and they can say, well, okay, well I can plan accordingly. All right. So this channel here, this is what I follow. It's called Gematria Effect News, I think. But he has two channels because they ban them every once in a while. They ban them, so he has to go between the two. So it's like Gematria Effect News, Gematria Effect Sports. But if you just go to Google and you type in Gematria, his will be the first channel. All right. And this dude, I mean, he's predicted so much stuff, it's crazy. Just like the Houston Astros World Series, he predicted who would win, who would win and what game, and I think he was off on one game. But he's predicted a lot of stuff, man, and it ain't necessarily just about being right, but it's just about showing people the patterns that there's an algorithm, not necessarily to life, but this life that we live in, okay? This life that we live in is scripted, man. This is the real life Truman Show. If you ever seen that, the real life Truman Show, man, where he got with Jim Carrey, and halfway through the movie, he started to realize, there's cameras and stuff everywhere, and he's like, "What's going on?" He gets to the end, you know what I'm saying? He realizes that, man, everybody just been watching this dude live his life, and that's based off real stuff. But like I said, gematria is just the process of turning letters into letters into numbers. So A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3. All right, that's just the basic cipher, but there's more ciphers to it. There's like, I want to say there's like 20 ciphers. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of different ways to decode it, and I don't do the decoding because it's kind of one of those things. Once you hop in, you kind of gotta you gotta figure the riddles out for yourself, type thing, and decipher what the riddles mean to you. But they all mean something. You know what I'm saying? This dude goes over, all the secret societies and stuff. Like when I talk about, sometimes I'll tell people about, these shadow governments and secret societies and stuff, and I try to get people to realize it's like they're not all necessarily just against us, but they use us to fulfill what they want done. And and when they beef, they beef with each other. So you got this society going at this society behind curtains that you don't necessarily know. And to me, it's never really been that important to me to figure out exactly what's going on, because I mean, once you jump into it and you do enough research, you realize that you're never gonna know everything anyway. So you just kind of take it and use it and apply it to you. Apply it to what you see going on. But I watch this channel, at least a few times a week, because you ain't even got to watch the news necessarily. Like I said, some of these channels I watch, they talk about news articles and headlines and stuff in their videos. So there's really no point in me going to articles and looking through it and finding it whenever they're putting it right here for me. That's the best thing about it. That's why I feel like this is the wave. Like, this is where society's going to end up going. Like, people are going to realize, like, why should I trust somebody that's wearing a suit and getting paid, opposed to somebody that's just living a regular life like me? Like, that's how I look at it. Like, if somebody just, living their normal life, having to pay bills, having to go to work, them people are more like me than the people I see that's on TV. Okay, so I'm gonna just play a little bit of this so you can understand, you know what I'm saying, understand exactly what it is.
And 6. God spoke to him in this way: for 400 years your descendants will be strangers in a country not their own, and they will be enslaved and mistreated. And with regards to Acts 7:6, of course, slave, Negro, Rasta, blues.
So you hear what he just said? That coincides exactly what I just said, man. Like I said, they don't necessarily tell you everything that's in the Bible. They don't break down what's in the Bible, you know, because they tell you it's a religion, it's a spiritual thing, which it is spiritual, but you got to look at the Bible as some people call it an acronym, okay? Basic instructions before leaving Earth, okay? But to me, I look at it as a history book. That's what they don't tell you. They don't tell you that it's history. They tell you, you know what I'm saying, this stuff may have happened, might have not happened, but at the end of the day, you know, what else do we got to go on? What else do we have to go on? Hieroglyphs? I mean, come on. But this is just an example right here. As you see, slave equals 76, Negro equals 76, Rasta equals 76, blues equals 76. So these are just like psyops that they put us through. And you know, it kind of tells you why they name stuff the way they do. They name stuff based on the energy it puts forth, given that the certain number adds up to another certain number that coincides with something that happened on the other side of the earth, like type thing. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to explain, but I'm just trying to get brothers to realize like it's really going. It happens every single day, and you know, it's a certain amount of times that something is a coincidence before it's no longer a coincidence. All right, and like I said, I've tried some of this stuff. Okay, so like some of the stuff he says, you might be like, all right, well you know what I'm saying, that could be anything, because there's four numbers in the cipher. So each phrase or each word could come out to 4 different numbers based on one of the ciphers that you use. And you know, you do like I did, and then you can go to Gematria Calculator on the internet, you know what I'm saying, and then you could try to put something in for your own. Put your name in, and then put in somebody you know. I guarantee not one of those 4 numbers will match, bro. I guarantee you. So, like I said, it's not a coincidence. Like, you could put in all kinds of stuff, and it's very hard to gauge. It's very hard for those numbers to line up.
In Gematria, they all equal 76. The Million Man March was on the day, leaving 76 days left in the year. The name Barack Obama's 76. So, with regards to this being on 7-6 and the 400 million, that stood out in a big way. And if you were with us before the football season began, on Patreon Live, we covered this ESPN front page story the morning of September 3rd, 9/3. This was September 3rd, 2019, just before the NFL season kicked off that year. And one of ESPN's top stories on 9/3 was Year of the Black Quarterback, with Mahomes and Lamar Jackson shaking hands. And they emphasized that phrase, they make the game exciting. And what we saw that morning is that phrase in the base ciphers, it has gematria of 112 in the most pure cipher. And that's a big number with the Chiefs. Chiefs equals 112, Super Bowl equals 112. We saw the ritual that went on with the season opener between the Packers and Bears. And all night you saw the Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes State Farm commercial. And there was a major riddle in that cemented what we were looking at here. And we said that Patrick Mahomes was the most likely quarterback to win the Super Bowl this year based on the fact that ESPN was giving us this story, the riddles that were being laid down, the fact that August 20th, 2019 had just passed, which was the 400-year anniversary of slavery in America, which is how long the mistreatment's supposed to end. So we were talking about all that stuff, and then ESPN called it the season of the black quarterback and gave us this story when we were already talking about things earlier with Brady and him passing on the torch to Mahomes on late night talk TV. But anyway, when this happened, we were talking about that day. We're like, okay, here it is again. Acts 7:6, the 400 years, now the year of the Black QB. We know what they just did back in Super Bowl 50 with the Huey P. Newton Black History ritual, so we know this is how it works. And that year, ESPN stories were giving it away too. So from years of documentation and understanding what the media is doing with these storylines and the scripting of sports and news, we were all over this. And we've been talking about Acts 7:6, the 400 years, last year's NFL season, all of this since before any of it transpired. So now for this deal to happen, the $400 million on 7/6, and to me, it's a gift. For those of you who don't know, I'm finishing a book right now, and I am behind just like I was with my first book, but I'm...
Yeah, so, one of the main points of this is, if you don't know, the contract was for 10 years and 504 million, I believe, 505 million. Okay, but in the headline, and in this certain headline, it said, Patrick Mahomes signs a deal for over 400 million, worth more than 400 million. Why couldn't they say more than 500 million? It's because they wanted to emphasize that 400. You know what I'm saying? They're telling you that time is up, man. The time for this kingdom to be ruled the way that it's ruling is up. All right? So, this is just something quick, man. This dude's got all kind of videos, all right? All kind of videos. It's damn near a daily thing. It's damn near a daily thing, okay? So, I'll just say, if y'all want to keep up on the news, like I said, this is the way that I do it. The way that I do it is I wear the headphones, and I just listen to it. And what happens when you do that, it's almost like reading. It's like you get to picture it. You don't get the picture, but your mind is gonna picture it. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way I do it. I found that to be the most effective way for me to learn and to soak in and to reprogram, because that's really, honestly, that's really what needs to be done. If you want to change your ways, you really have to look at it as reprogramming, man, because it doesn't happen overnight. All right, it doesn't happen overnight, but I can tell you personally, man, my life has been a lot more fruitful ever since I started questioning things. I don't dismiss them. I take them for what it is, and I look them up, and I kind of wait. And you know what I'm saying? When something comes out, I don't necessarily jump on it. When something comes out, I just kind of sit there. I'll say, well, this could happen if that, I try to connect the dots. So, you know what I'm saying? Put some of these on, put your headphones on. You know what I'm saying? Put some of these videos on, put your headphones on, and just do your regular thing. Clean the house up or whatever. Instead of listening to some music, just put some of this on. And you know what I'm saying? That's where it starts at. You just gotta train your mind. It's like eating vegetables, man. The truth is like vegetables. It don't always taste good. It definitely don't look good, but it's better for you. It's better for you in the long term than that steak, than that piece of candy, man. So we gotta start looking at things as a process. You know what I'm saying? Stop just trying to enjoy life, because at the end of the day, this is not our rest. People talk about racism and white supremacy and the white man's world. Look, man, this is the white man's kingdom, okay? Of course he's gonna look out for his before someone else. I would expect the same from you, okay? But what they not gonna tolerate is us throwing these fits and these temper tantrums that they let us get away with, because they put a ceiling on every little movement we got. They put a ceiling on it. So, and then, you know what I'm saying, they just gonna sit back and let you act out, and you might have a few bottom feeders come out and oppose you. But at the end of the day, they was out there marching, and they really wasn't going for that shit. If they really didn't want that, they'd just drop a drone on you or something. They'll wipe you out real quick, like. But where's the fun in that for them? You see, you see what I'm saying? They just play these little games, man. And eventually people gonna get sick of it, man. Because that's where I got to the breaking point to where I was like, I'm just sick of being lied to. These people, they don't even make the stories fruitful anymore. They don't even make them juicy for you to look up and look into. They just give you one little sentence. Yeah, somebody died in their car of natural causes. Da-da-da-da-da. Like, what? But yeah, just hope people, you know what I'm saying, just expand your horizons a little bit. And, you know what I'm saying, looking at this gematria thing, it's a little bit complicated at first, but, you know, what isn't hard, that's what isn't worth it, that isn't hard. All right. So this is just the algorithm to this society that we live in. It's not it's not necessarily the algorithm to life, because, you know, once these people are out of power, who knows who's gonna be coding these things and stuff like that. You know, who knows? Is it always gonna be like this? Who knows, man? That's the beauty of it. You don't know. But yeah, I'll be back with some more about this gematria, man.